looking good. Probably more important is you want to simplify your life. We have sat in so many of your studios and watched everything that you do and all the hats that you put on. And we built a lot into our platform to make things a lot easier. And we'll talk about that as this all unfolds. But one of the more obvious ways that we help you simplify your life is with one software application that's cloud-based. You can upload events or images one time, and you can do an in-person sales session, a client gallery, a mobile app, and there's many other things we're going to show you today through the ordering process that will help simplify your life as well. And then finally, you got to grow your revenue. And I have a very simple metric I look at, and that is what is the average revenue that our customers are able to drive per image that they upload us. And we're constantly looking at ways to give you more ways to monetize those images that you've uploaded with us. That's why with that one platform, you can sell in so many different ways. We won't talk about the mobile app a lot today, but we've also set the mobile app up so that as you share it with others, you can set it up so that you can sell it to anyone it's been shared with. Our review program is another example of growing revenue. So that's really kind of our focus is we're trying to do these three things, give you a great look, save you time, and help grow your revenue. So Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we're going to look at our sales workflow. Now, one thing with Enview is we've set everything up so that you are in control. And while we're showing you a sales workflow that we think is the best way to really maximize your revenue, you can use any single part or combination of parts to help with the sales process. So Michelle, why don't you walk us through that sales workflow?
Sure. So how we set it up is after talking to several photographers is you have the initial consult, and that could be in person where they come into the studio, you talk about the session. It could be simple phone call where they're scheduling the appointment. And so then you work into the session itself. So you go through the session, they have their great experience with you, and then you upload the images to an event. And from the event, you can do an in-person sales session. And then a second, from there, you take the in-person sales, ratings, favorites, any orders of the client, and then you work into the client gallery for the second sale. And that could be digital delivery as well. And you also have the option to take the ratings and the favorites and orders from the client gallery, and then utilize
from the in-person sales session.
Yeah.
So I can actually work with a client in an IPS session and a client gallery, and I don't lose the choices they make.
Correct.
That
It
is
stays
awesome.
with it. Yeah. And then from there, you have the ability to create a mobile app and utilize that as a sales tool, proofing tool, or a product itself. And then from there, we have this amazing program called Review, where we allow the events that have expired to go live again.
Right. So really what you're saying, Michelle, is after you've done your upload, you can sell in 4 different ways, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Great. So we can hit them many times. In that review program, we do it for you around the holidays, late November and December, and also in May and June for Mother's Day, Father's Day, and graduation. But you can do a custom review for those of you that are wedding photographers. You can set it up so that all the email addresses for the people that you captured in the gallery can be available a year later, so you can get the couple another gift. So this review program is a great way to drive additional revenue. All right. So what I'd like to walk through next is image management, where Enview is very different from anyone you've used before. Is that instead of just managing your images through one of these sales opportunities, you're going to try to manage them across the entire life cycle of different images. So this is really important. So we're going to kind of go slowly here, because if you understand this, it's really going to save you a lot of time and make things more efficient. So the first thing to really get in your mind is that with Enview, everything is going to drive from the event images. So when you upload those images, you create an event. And from that single event, you can do a lot of different things. Now, after you've uploaded your images to that event, you can create 3 different gallery types. From that one event, you can create an in-person sales session, a client gallery, and a mobile app. And each of those is going to be a different view on those event images. So imagine that you're a wedding photographer and you've uploaded 500 event images. You may use just a subset of those 500 for your IPS session. Maybe it's a subset of 150 or 100. And then maybe the client gallery is a different view of that. So think of the IPS session, the client gallery, and the mobile app, which sometimes only has 40 or 50 images. They're all coming from the same set of images from that event, but you're only filtering and showing a subset of those images in your IPS client gallery and mobile app. Now, some photographers may have the same ones in IPS session and client gallery, but most photographers do some culling and limit them. Now, that brings me to another super important point to get in your head. And you might want to write this down, is that all of the client choices are linked to their client's email address. That is like their account key. It's their account. So that means that you have another filtering of those event images based on their email address. So let me just give you a very specific example. If I've gone into an IPS session and I have 150 images, now I've rated those and put them in maybe a 5-star rating categories and maybe favorite folders and orders. All of those are tied to that particular email address so that when they go into the client gallery, I can show that they can actually see all of the choices that they made in the IPS session in the client gallery. But if they go in with a different email address, they will not see what they did in the IPS session. It's a very important point. It can be confusing sometimes, but you can imagine on the flip side, you don't want one person going in with an email address seeing what another person's choices and favorites are. So we kind of isolate in that way. I hope that makes sense. It's a really important point. And then the last thing you can do around filtering is you can have categories within an event itself. So for a wedding photographer, for example, you may have a getting ready, another set of images around the wedding itself or the reception or the family. And you can have those as categories in your IPS session and client gallery. So that's another way to organize those. And all of that comes together in this last slide I'm going to show you as I bring this up. And this is your image organizer. So you can see on the left-hand side in that blue panel, you've got your event dashboard and your images. You can see we're in images right now. If you move your eye over to the gray panel, you can now see under event images, you've got 97 images in this particular event. And I've hidden what's to the right of that, which would be the images themselves. We'll look at that here in a moment. But you've got all the event images. If you move down to the favorites, ratings, and orders, you can see under this first email address, which is tc@sundermail.com, you can see they've got their folders and rated images in their in-person sales session. And then if you opened up the client gallery, it would be different as well. Then you see the in-person sales session. We don't have any categories there, but in the client gallery, we do have a getting ready and a couple images. And I want to pause here for a moment just to show you how this works. You can see we've got 97 images in the client gallery at the bottom. But in the getting ready, we have 12 images. The couple are 21. And there are 64 that are uncategorized. And we'll talk more about how you can manage that. But the main idea I want to get across in image management is all of your images are in the event images, which would be here at the very top where it says all event images. And then from that, we can then create different filters for your in-person sales session, your client gallery, which can also be grouped into categories and favorites. Michelle, do you have any questions on that? Or?
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's an important point I just kind of wanted to go through. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the live gallery. And now what we're going to do, let me just kind of open this up here so we can take all the screen. Michelle, I'm going to ask you just to walk through just how our administrative area is set up. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and create an event and go back to the events.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that you are aware of where everything is located in your account so that You can set this up the best as possible. So up here at the top, at Manage Account, this is where all of your brand and studio information is going to be, along with billing and payment information, and managing your plans and passwords. So I'm going to go ahead and click on brands and studio information just to make sure that you are aware. So when you edit this, you have options here to create a brand. But I want to pause on the subdomain. Deborah, you had a question about custom URLs and links. You can set up your own subdomain, and this is the section that you can do that in. And if you need assistance, you can reach out to our team and we can work together to try to help you get that set up.
Yeah, the value of the subdomain is that you can mask over our enjoyphotos.com URL with your own personal brand. But the other thing I want to make sure is really clear here is you can see you have multiple brands.
Mm-hmm.
So within one of your accounts, you can have more than one brand. If you have one brand, maybe for boudoir that you want to keep separate from maybe your seniors, you can separate those brands. And then when you assign that brand to the gallery, then all of the branding information, the address, their phone number, their subdomain can all be specific to that.
Yep, it's all tied together. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and head over to the product section. So if you plan to offer products or purchase products through InView, here is a list of products that we offer. But also we want to make sure that you are aware of the coupons. So when you set up your account, that's where you will find it. We have several over $200 in product coupons there for you to utilize.
Great. And all these products are fulfilled through H&H. And we are adding more products all the time. In fact, we have a project active right now to expand our album and book area. But yeah, those are our products.
Yep. And now we'll move on to the galleries, and that's probably where you're going to spend a lot of your time, and that is going to be in the gallery manager. So when you click on your gallery manager, what it does is it gives a list of all of the events that you had created, including the client gallery and the in-person sales sessions. And over to the left, we have a section called Gallery Collections and your gallery library. And the reason we want to touch on this is because it is different than a category within the event itself. So managing that, what we've done is created a place for you to organize your events, but not only that, to if you have a landing page or a place that you would like your clients to go on your website to view their events, we have a client access page, and that is a great way to organize your images. So if you look over here, you create a collection, and it could be weddings, and then you can just drag any wedding events into that collection. So it keeps it nice and organized for you. So that's kind of how that works. Dave, did you have anything to add on that?
No, I'm not sure we're going to go into the client access page a lot today, but if you do, that's a page where you all of these gallery collections can will actually be shown, and you can drag these around if you want to put those in a different order. If I wanted that at a higher level, if I wanted that as a sub category, I can do it that way as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is where you will manage a lot of your events. Now we'll go into your orders at the top. So you have the products, the galleries, and the orders. And under the orders, that is where you're going to have just one of two places that you will have access to your clients' orders or any orders that you have placed. So you can see any funds that you have, any orders here, and then under activity, this gives you a place to search any type of status of an order, any payment type, money spent, orders requiring action. And we're going to go over that a little bit more later as we go through an actual sales session.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that is our the admin area. Just gives you a flyover. As you see, we've got three main categories: products, galleries, and orders. And then the manage account to make sure you've got all of your account settings. So we're going to go ahead and start now by creating an event. So this create button up in the upper right-hand corner is always present. And we'll just click on that right now. And when you click on the create button, on the left-hand side here, you have three options. The in-person sales session and the client gallery really function the same. You're just creating that main event. The mobile app is a separate upload. We're not going to go into that today, but the first two will give you the exact same experience. So we'll just go ahead and set up our event. And the first thing we'll do is we'll name the event. We'll just call this Getting Started in October of 20. And that's the name of the event. And I can set my event date. By the way, you'll notice we've got a video here. We have videos embedded through the entire platform to give you help. I'm going to pause here for a moment because you also have it down here at the left-hand corner with this little help bug. And if you go into this help bug, you can come in and there's lots of things that you can type in here. We've got, I think, close to 100 articles, help articles that you can go in. That's a great way to learn about the platform as you're going along.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt you, Dave. You will see that help button on every screen that you're in pretty much. So you can type in something that isn't even related to what you're doing and still have access to that information.
Great. So on the event setup, we've got the event name and the date. And now it's going to go ahead and create the event itself. Now we want to get some images up. We've got three options for you right now. You can just do a direct upload, which is what we're going to do here in the browser in a moment. You can upload later, which really, a great use case for this is if you have a wedding and you want to have the wedding available at the reception, you can create what we call a pre-posted event, where you can create the event itself so that you can share the URL for the event and people can go in and put their email address at the reception so that once the event goes live, you can notify everyone. And then the Lightroom plugin, which we're not going to go into today, but for those of you that are Lightroom users, we've got that plugin available so you can upload directly from Lightroom and create your event from Lightroom. But what we're going to do today is upload the images. And you'll notice that there's two options if you use our browser uploader: the original resolution, which we'll do here in a moment, or a low resolution. Now, the low resolution will speed up your upload by about 90 to 95%. This is a great solution if you are maybe doing a Wi-Fi hotspot and you're not sure what kind of bandwidth you have. And you can upload the same images later after you've gotten to a high speed, and then we'll ask you, because we'll detect if you've got a duplicate file name, we'll ask you if you want to overwrite those images, skip them, or keep them. So it's a great way to do it. So that's good when you're in a situation where you have low bandwidth. But we'll go ahead and do original resolution right now. And whoops, let me go here. Try desktop, let some trade show images. And we'll just go ahead and grab a small subset of images here. And go ahead and start that upload. And that upload, as you can see, has started right here. Now I can move right from, well, actually, let me draw your attention to the bottom right-hand corner. You can see the actual speed of the upload here. You can see we're uploading right now at about 8,400 kilobits per second. And the upload, it gives you the percent completion. You can kind of track that as it's uploading the images right there. But if you wanted to, we could go ahead and start the setup process immediately for in-person sales. But let me just come over here. We're in the event dashboard. If I came over to images, you would see some images are uploading, some are processing, and it's actually showing you the images pop in as you actually go through this. You can see we're right now got about 18 of 26 of those images are done and popping in. So this is that image organizer I talked to you about earlier. But let's go back to the event dashboard. And I think, Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're actually going to set up an IPS session. But before I go over, do we have any questions so far?
No, it doesn't look like it so far.
All right.
Just
Oh, I'm going to draw your attention to one other thing. For some of you that may be on a smaller screen or on a tablet, you'll see these little arrows. You can actually collapse those areas if you want, just to grab some more space. If you're on a tablet, will detect a small screen size and do that for you automatically. But let's go ahead and create our in-person sales session.
Okay. All right, here we go. So on the dashboard, you see this little pink button set up. And here you want to give it a name and an email address. So I'm going to go ahead, Dave, I'm going to use
pre-fill.
The pre-fill. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, because remember, all of the image choices, the ratings, the favorites, and the orders are all going to be tied to this.
Yeah, to an email address and the client name. And you'll see that coming up as well. So then we'll hit continue. Something that we do have as a feature that saves a lot of time is presets. I'm going to configure this manually right now, but if you look, there are quick settings that you can preset. So we'll do a senior guy preview. Whoop, I got to click on it and then hit preview, and it'll show you all of the settings that you've created for that specific preset.
Okay. We'll go back and do it manually right now.
Yeah, we'll do it manually, but I'll show you here too.
I thought it'd be good to show them.
Yeah.
They can see what the preset is. If you have multiple presets you forgot, we'll give you a quick glimpse before you apply it.
Absolutely. So that just confirms that everything is correct and you want to use that setting. So we're going to go ahead and do manually for now so that we can show you the setup. Now the presentation workflow is a suggested workflow. This is some of the best practices that we've learned from photographers who do in-person sales on a regular basis, but you can customize it to how you do your sale. So if you wanted to, you can go to create your own and add just a few if you want. If you want to go from the welcome screen straight to culling, which is the image selections, you could do that. But I'm going to go ahead and stick to the in view suggested.
Yeah. And Michelle, I just want to make a comment before you move on. When we sat with a lot of photographers, you recognize that everybody did things in slightly different ways. So what you'll see through the entire InView platform is we put you in control and allow you to kind of control this, but we also give you a recommended way to start that we think are best practices.
Exactly. All right, continue. We do have our own slideshow that you can utilize, and we also give you the option to, put a link to Animoto, YouTube, or Vimeo videos if you'd like to do that. But we'll do the InView slideshow.
And while you're doing that, I'll just mention, for those of you that are Animoto users, from time to time we get someone say, hey, my video looks grainy. You can set the resolution size on Animoto. And we give you some instructions on how to do that. So if you have that issue, make sure that you're using the highest resolution possible on Animoto before you use that link.
Yep, absolutely. All right, in this section, you can select the images that you want to go in the slideshow. So there may be just the photographer's favorites that you want to. Otherwise, you can select all. And you want to make sure you select the images down here. And then once you've done that, it takes you to the setup for the rating system. Some people choose to not do a rating. Others choose yes, no, yes, maybe no, or 4-star, 5-star for those that are used to Lightroom. We'll go ahead and choose the yes, maybe no for now. And then the image initial culling view. So this is what they would see once the slideshow was complete. You can choose to go anywhere you want to in the culling view once you're in the sale. This is just a beginning. I always like to be able to see all of them starting my sale. So I'm going to go with the thumbnail view.
So all the culling views are always available. We're just selecting the first culling view you see when you move into the culling area.
All right, and this is where you'll set up the selling, the shopping cart. You'll want to make sure it's on the price list that you want to use, so you can create as many price lists as you want. And we're going to use the portrait. Let me scroll down. Suggested portraits, and then fulfillment type. And then cropping on. So you want to make sure the cropping's on during your IPS session so that if for some reason they want to see what an 8x10 is going to look like versus a 5x7, make sure that cropping feature is turned on. And then we also give you the option to calibrate Real View. And Real View is where a feature that allows you to project in real size, whether it's on a wall or a projector screen or a TV. Obviously on a TV, it can only go so large depending on what device you're using. So you can calibrate that and set it up for an IPS session. I am going to skip this step unless anyone wants to see that specifically. All right.
Okay, so we've got everything set up now for the in-person sales. You've got additional features that you can use. Do we want to walk through these real quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. Just really quickly. So we give you several different styles for the welcome screen. You could do a full screen, framed image, split screen, single, mosaic. We also give you control on where the text is at the top, the bottom, the center, and then we also give you alignments to the left and the center and the right. So if you don't want the text to be, you know, on the main image like a face. We also allow you to set the focal point of the image. So if you have a vertical image and you don't want to cut off any of the image, you can set the focal point, and you can add multiple images if you would like. And then
that's right. Would edit that, and then it would work like a slideshow if I had multiple images. Got it.
And then a few other settings. The title slide, you can change multiple fonts. You can add an additional title line if you'd like. So if you have a senior, you could say their name and then, their school, like Blue Valley North 2020 senior. Yeah. Just as an example. You can set music to the welcome screen. That some people like that, some people don't. Again, that's a choice of yours. And here's something that is important to me. You can hide the studio name. So we allow you to use the logo, if you see the logo to the left, and then the text of the studio name is right there. So if you hide it, that way you're not doubling up. Some people like one or the other, or maybe you don't have a logo set up on there. So we've gone through the welcome screen. We're going to go through the slideshow settings. You can set up the transitions, the order of the images, and then the amount of time for the transition. So down at the bottom, just take a look here really quick. You can organize the images. So you can just click on the image and drag it, the order, if you'd like to do that. And then also you can select music for the slideshow. And something that Dave likes to talk about, the fit to screen. I'll let you tell them about the fit to screen.
Yeah. The challenge with the fit to screen is, and we don't have it set up right now. If you fill the screen, you'll notice that there's no black bars on the sides. We're doing a center crop, but you notice what happened. We just lost this lady's head.
Yep.
So unless you're a photographer who has already got a lot of images that work on a center crop, you're better off to just do the fit to screen, which means that you may have some bars on either side, and you can change that background color right here. But that's a better way to make sure you have the full image. And occasionally we get someone that says, "Hey, when I go into the slideshow, body parts are missing." Well, that's because you probably have this on fill screen, and you don't have a lot of images that work with the center crop. We'd like to make some improvements there, but just letting you know, so in case you run into that, you're aware of it.
All right. We've already gone over culling, but if you have some adjustments that you want to make, but it's always good to go in here. We do have what we call favorites folders, and you can preset those up right here, as well as create them on the go within the IPS session. And what these are good for is just keeping your cell organized, and it eliminates a lot of loose paper or sticky notes, or you trying to keep all that information in your brain during the sale. And so you can create those favorites folders like albums, wall decor, grandma's favorites. So if you sell a lot of packages and you know that those packages have specific items, that way they can sort their images in there, and you can pull from those when it's time to design your wall decor or choose your album images.
Right. Then we've got a great feature here, Michelle, on Room View. So let's talk about that really quickly and then show them how to use our Room View Direct.
Okay, this is pretty cool, I have to say. So what we've heard from photographers is they had a hard time getting their clients to do the steps to provide a room in their home. And so we wanted to try to eliminate some of those pain points for the photographer and for their clients. So what we've done is created a Room View Direct feature. And so you can send your client a text message that will give them instructions on what to do to create an image for their
in the room. Yeah. So the great part about this, Michelle, is that when you're using the text message tool or the email, if they open that up on a tablet or a smartphone, they tap on it, it will go to that device's camera. They accept the image and it uploads directly to the event. Now it does, again, I've said this before, but it ties it to their email address.
Yes.
So when they do it this way, they'll see it when they log in for themselves, but they won't see their friends if they're doing a sports team and they've got their picture there. Yeah. But it's a great way to make it super simple to get their house or their wall from their house right in there.
Yeah, and it's so easy because, you know, not very many people are carrying a camera around outside of their cell phone, the camera on their cell phone. Yeah. So it makes it really easy for your client.
Yeah, I would encourage you to try this yourself. It will really speed things up for you.
That's right.
All right.
All right. And then we've gone through all of those settings, except for selling.
Yeah, I think in the matter of time, because we're already at 12:35, these are pretty straightforward on your selling and theming
and that's where you'll set up like your discount coupons and things like that under selling, but also theming allows you to customize the look and the feel of the event.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and walk you through a IPS session. There's a couple of ways you can start. Or you can start right here where it says Begin Sales Session. I'm going to go ahead and do it from the dashboard where it says Begin Sales Session. They're the same thing. And here you choose your card. If you want another client, you can build another client in. Remember, the reason we're doing different clients is we're creating the email address so that all of their favorites and orders can be tied to them. And did we want to do dual view or?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do dual view and we're kind of keep this kind of quick. So we'll go ahead and set this up. And I'm thinking I'm sharing the entire screen, so we'll be okay
yeah,
here.
We can make sure. It looks like it. We'll see how it goes.
We'll do these side by side. We've got some great new videos out there too that show you how to do these. And we're now showing those. So you might check out some of the new videos that we've created for this. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this browser and kind of see side by side. We're not going to go full screen right now with this side, because I want to show you side by side. So on the photographer side, you have these two buttons that I'm moving around. The first one just allows you to control typical dual view if you want to drive through this way. We're going to call your attention to keyboard shortcuts. So you can use all the keyboard shortcuts that you have in the Adobe products, Lightroom, etc. They're built right in. It's a great way to just use your keyboard to do rating and culling. Then you've got this dual view menu. And the dual view menu you have here for showing and hiding. I'm going to go ahead and turn off ordering controls and pricing, but I'm going to leave file names on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I'll show you if you are on the Platinum plan or our no commission plan, you also have Live View, which gives you a way, as you see, as soon as I put that on there and open that up, I now have the way to actually have a video call. So we've built video like a Zoom call right into the platform. It's great for situations like during this pandemic, if you're doing an IPS session remotely. So if you've got, again, the Platinum plan or the no commission plan, you have access to this, but we're not going to go through that today. I'm going to hide it, but we wanted to let you know it's there if you're on one of those plans. And there's no extra charge. It's built right in, and it's a super cool way to integrate your video right into your dual view session. So we're on the welcome screen. I can just click on the screen and advance and start right into the slideshow. And I'm not going to take a lot of time as the slideshow is going to take its time to kind of transition through. I'm going to continue. And now this is where we've got that initial tolling view. But you'll see here on the photographer side, I have the various tolling views are sitting right here for me to work with. So they're all available. As I scroll through, you kind of see how everything kind of keeps up nicely. And a lot of photographers, when you start doing your tolling, you're doing your ratings as you go along, but you're doing them one at a time. But I want to show you that as I roll over this right here, you'll see there's a check mark. If you click that check mark, that will allow me to do a multi-select. And you notice as soon as I did that, I got this blue bar across the bottom. And I can now choose multiple at the same time, and I can then apply the same rating to that all at the same time. Now that filter is building out in real time. You can see right now I have 20 images that have not been rated. 5 are a yes, 1 is a maybe. I don't have any no's yet. So that's going out in real time. And let me just go ahead and do a couple maybes here and just show you how this works. If I then come in and I filter by my maybes, there's 4 of them, and I jump over to the single image view, I can now use my arrow keys and filter a second time. Some photographers will do a second time. So if they say, you know what, I actually like that one, and I'm going to move that from a maybe to a yes, look, watch across the bottom. I've got 4 images. Now all of a sudden I've got 3. And that's because I'm filtering only on the maybes. And this is a way for me to go ahead and filter through the rest of these and put them in the right filters. Got the AB where I can compare. So I'm going to go ahead and change my filter right now to all my yeses. And I see all my yeses right here. And I can then compare some side by side. I can do as many as 7 or 8. 8, right. As many 8 at the same time. I can use this little padlock to lock them, zoom them together, pan them around. You can see I'm panning on both sides at the same time and making those changes. So it's a great way to do that. But I'm going to show you, I'm moving rather quickly right now, but I'm going to go ahead and filter again by my yeses only. And I'm going to come back over to this view right here and show you that if I want, I can go ahead and take all my yeses and I'm going to put them into my folder for my wall decor. So I've got all my yeses. I'm going to say, okay, now of those yeses, which ones do you want on your wall? So we're going to use the multi-select to do that. And they're going to go ahead and choose those images right there for their wall decor. And I'm going to do the favorite. And I'm going to put those all in wall decor in one fell swoop.
But you can also put those images in multiple places. So maybe they want an image in their album and on their wall. You can put them in multiple folders. You
got it. And then those folders right here, if I come into I'm going to go ahead and clear my filters and come over to my all images and look at the 4 that I have in wall decor, and they're ready to go. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these out actually. And I'm going to unheart this one. And come back here. Let me go back to wall decor here. And on those 3, if I do a multi-select and I select all of them, I can now, there we go. And I can do a multiple order at the same time. So if I wanted to order those all at the same time, I could do that. And I've got some sorting features if I want to sort those as well. All right, Michelle, should we, what maybe?
About room view.
Oh, let's do it. So let me go over here and do some room view. Clear this out. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and come in here, and you'll notice that right now I've got it set up so that my customer does not see it, but I do. Let's just go ahead and do raw classes or review to show it all at the same time. So I only have one raw collection right now, but we'll choose this trio of collections. And by the way, when you build your collections, you always give you a nice visual preview so you know what you're actually building there. And we'll just go ahead and fill this out. That's probably not the best image to crop with that. And Michelle enjoys when a non-photographer comes in here. She would have nailed this. But anyway, so we've got this. We're going to go ahead and look in room view. And we'll just move this right up here. I can frame these, and you'll notice as I do the frame, I can apply to all items on the wall. And you'll notice as I change the frame size and the mat size, and we're retaining the spacing on the wall. We built that so that retains the spacing for you. So that's a nice feature that you can do there. I know you'd like me to show Michelle the share feature. Do you want to talk about it? All right. And so if you've got maybe a decision maker that's not in the room, we can text this image itself to the person not in the room and make sure. This happens a lot with seniors, right?
Yeah.
You've got the mom or the dad that's not in the room, and they love room view. You're selling more than you thought. You went over budget. Just ask for the mom so it's got the purse strings, right?
No, it's usually
The
dad.
dad. Okay, so send it to dad.
If you're a dad
And
out
then-
there, just close your ears.
There you go. And then with that, you say, Dad, I really want this. Please let me do it. And then what can you say, right? You just want to make sure you get that decision before they leave the room. Notes are another great feature. You've got notes at the image level. That one might be remove hair. The item notes or for the actual item in the cart. Here you might say black 4-inch frame. And then order notes are for the entire order. And then that order note will carry on all the way through to the cart, which maybe we should go to the cart. But we didn't do this. I'm not going to spend time, but we do have a save for later. And that is on the client gallery as well as for your clients, as well as you as a photographer in an IPS session.
Yes.
Now, you notice that the customer doesn't see anything. They're actually seeing an image at this point. That's because here in dual view, I have turned off their ordering controls. Now, if I showed the ordering controls, they would see it, but you notice I've got the pricing off, so they don't see the prices.
Right.
So we can do it that way. So here you've got your prices. You notice your order note right here. We're going to show you adjustments. Another thing that we've seen is that photographers, when we were sat with them, is crazy things happen in the sales room, and you want to make sure you close that sale. So let's say that we're going to do a discount right here, and we're going to give them a discount on a package level because of what they did, and we're going to go ahead and give them a flat rate of a $50 discount because of that. And when I save that, you notice that that discount shows up right here. Now, I'm not showing it on the customer side right now. I can show it at any time, but you've got the discount right there. You can stack adjustments. Maybe they also get an upcharge. Maybe there's some post-production work that they need to do, and their upcharge is $100. Whoops, for that. You can choose whether it's taxable or not, because it's different in different states, right? Depending on if it's a service or a product. And everything moves in. So you see my subtotal went up by $1,000 because this $900 item just got an upcharge, but I still get that $50 discount. So you can do adjustments right there. Great, nice feature to help you fill out their information. And after you've done that, you can either do credit card or in-person payment. We're going to do in-person payment. If you do use our merchant processing, there is a 3% charge on that merchant processing. And any orders that are, you might want to write this down, any orders that are completed by midnight on Tuesday in our system will be eligible for payout that Friday. So, if you're sitting there on a Wednesday remember you have to wait until the following Tuesday, and you may want to do in-person payment, but just making sure you're aware of how our system does pay out every Friday.
And we do encourage you to use the checkout cart, whether you're using your own merchant or not, because what it does is it records all that information and all those details for you in your order manager within View.
Right. Okay, so, and by the way, I've not shown them the price, so I'm not going to save that card. I'm going to go ahead and turn on their pricing at this point.
We might talk about private mode really quick, just briefly.
Oh, doggone it. Yeah, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Let's just go back.
Private mode is another great feature within Dual View that allows you to utilize it as a sales tool, but also to keep things very clean and private on the backside.
Yeah, so if I'm in here and as they're looking at that, I can go ahead and go into public or private mode, and I can build out and make some modifications to this and go ahead and give them another design to look at while we're rating here. So, and then once I've done that, and built that out, now I can use this push screen and push it over to the client side for them to see it too.
So now you've just upsold them. You know, they were looking at one, let's just say 16 by 20 for the wall, and now they're going to buy 3 portraits because they love it so much. So that's a good way to utilize that as an upsale.
Yeah. So we're going to add that to the cart. Got a nice big juicy order now. We're up to $2,300. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's party tonight.
Using that credit card.
Yep. Oh, and I stayed in private mode. So I'm going to go ahead and push the string right there. I'm going to go back to public mode, and we're going to check out. When you come into this final string, you can email the receipt to the client or print it right there. And they get to see the crops and everything are right in there on that receipt. So we're going to head back and actually head on back to see what we've got here. Did I check? Yeah, I checked out. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. We're done with our dual view session. Pull this back in. And what they see now is that order is sitting right there. Mm-hmm. So you've got the order right here. And I think we're going to, do we want to walk them through that? Well, actually, before we do that, the choices that they made are right here. So they're all available for them.
Yep. Under the image tab.
Right. So for those 5 that they purchased, you might filter by that. You can see them right here. I can then select all of them, and I can then choose to download those file names, copy them to my clipboard, run over to Lightroom,
or whichever,
or whatever, Capture One, whatever, and then I can take those file names and do a search. They pop up. I can redo them, and that helps me with kind of replacing. So it's a great way to do it. I'll show you another way to do that here. I can come right into the order itself. So here's the order itself. I've got my order notes are right here, and this one I needed to remove hair. So on this one I need to remove hair. Before I order it, I can replace that image for all items in this order, and I can see what items it actually affects. It's going to affect 2 different items. And I can go ahead and do all items in this order. And when I upload it, I want to replace it in the event itself so that any other time I use that image, it is right there. So that's a great feature. And then once I've replaced that image, then I can come up here to the Fill with MView button and go ahead and select the items I want to fulfill, put that right through MView, which is H&H. And then I've got all of those ready to go. Continue and check out. I can ship it to my customer. I can ship it to the studio address on file. It shows you right where it's at. come right through and really simplifies that process. Michelle, I think we wanted to go through real quickly also on our update status.
Yeah.
So you can create your own statuses right here if I want to create a custom status. But I just want to show you that any status that requires action, I can then go ahead and filter by that. So I'm going to go ahead and set these to retouching as needed. And I'm going to apply that status to that order. Then I'm going to come over to the activity area that we saw earlier. I can then filter by orders that require action and retouching, and there's the order right there.
Yep.
So that's a great way to filter if you've got an associate or maybe you've just kind of lost track of things. And we saw a lot of photographers writing all this stuff on different sticky notes, etc. And this is a super neat way to be able to filter and find those orders that actually require action. Do we have any questions so far? Are we doing okay?
We're doing good.
All right. Well, I know that we're getting close to the top of the hour. We're going to go a little bit over. But Michelle, I just covered some of the items you were going to cover here.
Oh, that's quite all right. Well, from here, I think what we need to do is go ahead and create a client gallery from the IPS session so that you can see how that works using their favorites and ratings and ordered images. So Dave is going to take you right there.
All right. So you've created your in-person sales session. We've got everything set up. As soon as I start to set up my client gallery, you'll notice here that I can choose which client choices I want to bring in. I'm going to choose my yeses, my maybes. I'm not going to choose my nos. And I'm going to choose those that are in favorite folders and my purchased images. And I'm going to put those in to a folder called Your Faves. And I'm also going to hide the all images category so that the only thing they see are the images that are yeses, maybes, or that they've ordered. And before you go through, we're going to show you what you've done. And you can see right now, down here in the lower left-hand side in the client gallery, there's the 8 that made that criteria, but there's 18 that are uncategorized. And maybe you as a photographer like an image or two. I really like this one here of the grandparents. I'm going to drop that one in there plus this one. And now that I've done that, I've now put some into my faves. Now, all images are hidden. If I wanted to unhide those, you would see the uncategorized as well. So you can do that either way. But my point is, now for that client gallery, you're kind of filtering down from what images you want to show based on what happened in the event. Some photographers don't like to do that, others do. Mm-hmm. We've built it in so you can manage those images across the galleries. We're not going to do the presets again. We're going to actually show you those in a moment, but on your client gallery, we're not going to use boudoir. If you do, or if you are a boudoir photographer, we have additional security for boudoir photographers if you turn that on. We're not going to require a password. We're going to go ahead and choose Kaya's watermark on there. And we're going to go ahead on the client access page. Since this is a wedding, we're going to drop it right into that wedding category. So it's right there. Shopping cart. We can choose the price list. You may have a different price list that you use after your in-person sales session. You want to use a different one. We're going to set this up for automatic fulfillment, shipping right to the customer. My expiration date is set at 60 days. We usually recommend that you have a relatively short time period to motivate them to action. Maybe we're going to do this one at 30 because you want to really get them to move. And we're going to go ahead and set up a review program. And we're going to set the review program on a custom date. You can do that custom date right here. We're going to grab them next September, right before that event. and you're set up. You can do some additional work right here, but I don't think we have time for that today.
Might just cover the downloads.
Downloads, let's do that. So on the digital downloads, we're going to go ahead and open that up. And you've got multiple options. You have RebRes, which our RebRes is always 1000 pixels on the long side. Original resolution, which is whatever you uploaded. We're going to turn watermarks on, which means that the watermarks will be on only for RebRes files. We've got a little help icon here that lets you know that low resolutions, if you want to pull those off, then there's a little bit of a delay as we do the download. You can choose your personal use license. Some photographers will only allow a selected category, and they'll actually put a category in there called digitals, and they'll manually put in the files that they want to release as digital files, so you can limit it. And when you do that, the download icon will only show for that particular folder if you set it up that way. So if I wanted to only let them have your faves, I would deselect those, and now only the 10 in your faves would be available for that. If I wanted to require a PIN, and you do not have to, you get some additional security. You can use that. Maybe only the PINs are required for original res. This is a great use case for weddings. Or you can have a file email restriction. Maybe only people with a certain email address can have the download icon. So if you did that, only the emails that were inserted here would see the download icon on that event. You put a file limit or a usage limit. So lots of power there. You can also have mix and match the downloads that you have that are free without the chart versus those that they pay for. For example, sometimes people will give free downloads to the person who purchased it. They'll put in their email address. Anyone else has to buy. All right. Anything else on that?
Don't believe so. All the other settings they line up very similar with the IPS session. We also offer presets in that, which is leading into our next quick topic. So we can show them how to set up a preset really quickly, and then we'll go and chat about the price list really quick.
So you've got client gallery, you've got both a gallery and theme and an IPS gallery and theme. Should we just do show a gallery?
Yeah.
So we'll edit the getting started. Wow, that mimics what I just changed through.
Yes, it does.
So walk me through that. So right here, you can see that you have the same options. So the thing I want to show you on this is, let's say we want to do some guest sharing as part of this. If I click that, it's now included in the preset. If I had not done that, you would get our default. But maybe we know we've got some problems with this client, and we don't want them on the social media sites, but we don't mind if they do the other. So we'll just go ahead and save that, and that is now part of the preset. You've got selling presets. I do want to pause on the tolling preset. In the actually, yeah, we'll just keep going because we're kind of limited on time right now. But I think you get the idea. This mimics what you've got, and you can set up all your presets. The last thing I want to show you on the presets is that if you apply a preset, then when I save that, I get a time date stamp so I know when I actually applied it. So that can be very helpful when you do that. And you can see what I did here inadvertently. And by the way, I'm just going to talk about this in a second because we do things sometimes we don't intend to do. I just set up a preset with the mosaic, but I did not set up all the images for the mosaic. So that's why you're seeing something here that's a little bit awkward on that. But the preset that I had, for whatever reason, was set up for a mosaic that only had one image set up. So you could fix that as a photographer. But sometimes you run into something that you miss, and it's like, what did I do? give us a call. We'll help you through with it, but that's what I did right there. All right.
So before we move on to price list, Dave, we do have a question. Can you limit which emails can access a gallery?
Can I limit what emails access a gallery? No.
Can access a gallery. Okay. So the question is no on that. So if you are concerned about that, then you want to make sure that you require
Password.
a password to access the gallery.
Yeah. So if you come into access and security and into passwords, you can create a password at the entire gallery level right here, or you can even set a password and manage passwords at the category level right here.
Yep.
Good question.
All right.
So price list?
Yeah, we're going to go and cover price list. So thank you all for sticking with us a little bit longer than intended. All right. So under galleries, you'll have the price list manager. So you want to make sure that you can choose to create a whole new price list from scratch, or you can use one of the suggested price lists that we have, and then you can modify that. And if you see here, we do have in view portrait suggested price list, and we have a section for a category which is prints. So we already have several in here, but you can add prints by going to the tab add print. So you can add a new product, an in view product, or you can add a custom product. So go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to say, remember when I mentioned something around custom products? Custom products, you can create an inventory of custom products that are available to all of your price lists.
Right.
And you want to make sure that's one of those key concepts you want to make sure you write down right now, is if you've created a custom product, and we'll just do a simple custom product right now. We'll just say that you do an acrylic 20 by 30. If I create this right here and create this item, I can drop it into my acrylics category. Room view is enabled. Save it, and now it's going to show up in that acrylic section right here is the 20 by 30. So if I came back over to that price list, then I could pull that in for that category. But the point I want you to remember is that when you come in here to add prints, if I add a custom product, only the custom products that I've added in that inventory are going to be available here.
Yeah, so then you click the little check box and it will add it to that specific price list category. Now, Terrence had asked, where can you see the suggested price list? So that should show up in your price list manager under price list. It should be in there. If you don't see that and somehow they were removed or cleared the list, we can put those back, reset that for you.
Yeah, if you're not seeing this end view suggested, give us a call and we'll get them back.
Absolutely. All right, so we talked about the custom product. So now what I want to do is go ahead and show how to build a package, and then we'll touch base on collections and pro custom products. So we're going to create a package here, and I'll have Dave walk you through this. Okay, so here you would
or not
you would add the name of the package. So package okay, and then here is where you would add the products. Now, something to keep in mind is any products that you're adding into a package, you need to make sure that you have as an individual product on your price list. So we're going to add here, let's just add one 11 by 14, and we'll do 4 5 by 7s, set of wallets, and that package A. And then the next step, now you can add a gallery wrap to it, or maybe you're offering a web resolution image. And then we'll hit next step. And you can put your price there.
And you'll notice in the description, we pre-filled that for you, but you can edit that if you want.
Yeah, you can edit any of that and change the name. You can also set the limit amount. So for this package, I would personally say this is one pose, but you can choose what you like and then hit finish.
So you can limit the number of poses if you want, or you can leave it unlimited.
Or you can leave it unlimited, exactly. Right. So then once Dave scrolls to the category, you can see you've now built a package.
Right. Now, one other interesting feature here on the packages is we notice that some photographers only want to sell a product in a package, but not a la carte.
Right.
Or vice versa. And that's what this hide from customer is right here.
Yeah.
For those items, the hide from customer means that it will not show a la carte, but it will show in a package.
Exactly.
So that's a great way to hide it on the price list if you have it in packages only.
All right, Dave, do you want to do a quick overview of wall collection to show them how to create a wall
We'll do a quick wall collection here. We'll choose the product type. I think we've got some metals in here. And we'll choose a wall collection with 130 by 40 and 2 of these. And you notice that we're giving you the lab price and your price so that you can price it. So I can see that it's regularly $19.97. I may want to maybe give them a discount of maybe $17.50 if they buy these all together. And we'll call this the Dave Special. You said Dave is special or Dave's special?
Both.
All right, there we go. Okay. And then we've got this great tool here where we can arrange things. If I select this one, I can go ahead and align things vertically right there. If I select multiples, I'm going to select all of them. I can then line them all in certain ways. And what I did right there is I just put them all dead center and deselect and pull them right back. And I'm just doing some of these things to kind of show you how this works. So sometimes you can see here, as I go ahead and line that up, I can then take this and make those the same distance. As soon as I got it to 8.71, it locked them in, and now I know that they're the same on both sides. So that's a way to set it up. Now that spacing will show in room view. And if you remember, I showed you earlier that when you add frames and mats, that spacing is going to be maintained unless you ungroup them.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's wall collections right there. So I think that kind of covers.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one last thing on the price list. We didn't go through it, but for those that want to, we do have a Pro Custom Product Builder. Think of this as a form that you can create that is wide open. You can create with this form builder, you can have different images, you can use radio buttons, drop-down lists. You can literally create a form to capture any information you want. We're not going to go into it today. We do have some videos on it, or our staff can help you with this. But it's a really robust way once you start getting a little more accustomed
and really to sell anything. So if there's products that we don't offer, that you want to sell on your price list, you have a way to offer that to your clients and get all the detailed information that you need to fulfill the product. So.
And when you look at your inventory of custom products, you'll see that if they're built with the Pro List, they've got this little icon here.
Go ahead and click on edit so they can see what that form builder looks like.
And we actually filled some of these out for you. So if you choose some of our price lists, the MG suggested we have these built in for you. And here's one that's already built out where you can see that you've got, someone can choose the size of the book, how many pages and sides, their cover gloss, quantity, etc. And we've built in a description with some of this.
So on the consumer side, whether you're doing the IPS session or a client gallery, it makes the client go through each of those steps to make sure that there was nothing unfinished to answer those questions.
Right. Okay. Now, I think we're kind of have covered the main things that we want to cover.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions before we wrap this up?
We do not. So if you have any questions before we close, go ahead and throw those in the chat, and we'll try to answer those for you.
So we'll summarize here very quickly. The galleries area is where you're going to spend most of your time with your galleries. That's where you can create your events and edit your events. We've gone through your price list manager and showed you how we give you some default price lists. You can also modify those. The duplicate feature, by the way, on the price list is a great feature. If you just take here and duplicate maybe one of our InView suggested price lists, play with it and make some changes.
Tuesday tip.
Yeah, it's a great way to kind of jump in. You mentioned Tuesday tips, so let's pause here for a moment.
Yeah.
Tell them about your InView space and see if we can get them involved.
Yeah, so we have our private Facebook group for InView users, and it's called Your InView Space. It's a great place to get additional information, to see what's new. Also, photographers go in and share failures and successes, or maybe there's some questions about InView that you didn't know. You can go in there and just kind of be part of the community and share and have camaraderie is great.
Before you look at that, I just want to say thank you to Michelle and Christine for your customer support.
That's
right.
sweet.
Yeah, I would encourage you to join this private group and just go ahead and go onto Facebook, and we'll be happy to let you.
We also post Tuesday tips. So there's little short tips that are features and tips that help you along your journey to save some time, or maybe just things that you didn't know were there, because InView's got a lot to offer, and we want to make sure that you guys are educated on what we have. So keep a lookout on Tuesdays for some of those tips that we have that will save you some time.
Yeah, another two other training tools. You got these popular videos. I'd encourage you to watch those. Also, from your admin area, these webinars right here. We've got a whole set of webinars that are available, and they go back quite some time from photographers. Great information here. You'll learn a lot, not just about InView, but also about just photography in general. So bonus webinars, check them out. It's a great learning tool.
Well, it doesn't look like anyone has any questions at this time. We really appreciate you joining us today and spending time learning more about the platform. So we appreciate you guys very much, and just know that we're always here to help. Just reach out to Dave, myself, or our team. Yeah.
Your success is important to us, and we are here to help you be successful. So don't hesitate to send us an email or whatever.
And feedback is always a gift.
May not always feel like it,
but
it is. In fact, a lot of the great features you saw are because photographers reached out to us and gave us feedback on how we could do better. And we know we can do better, so yeah, let us know.
That's right.
Is that it?
That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.